So we are recording again, and Ahlaam, we had left. The last question was about power jars, and you were explaining how that business came about. And so I was very curious, and I don't think I've ever asked you this really. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
how did it feel? You were a consultant, then you opened a spa, a well-being spa, and then from then you moved towards food and beverage. And the business has a low barrier, but it is a very, very tough business. I mean, I've been a part of this industry for like 24 years or so, and I help people in food and beverage. And so what were the barriers that you felt? How did you overcome them? Tell us a little about that.
Okay, so initially I'll tell you about the transition from being a consultant to setting up a business. It was quite a journey. That was quite a challenge in itself. And then we'll talk about the actual challenges of being in the business. So first of all, being a consultant was actually a lot of fun. I could freelance. It was actually ideal. However, as the business developed, a lot of executives, a lot of our members would be asking for us to deliver the food. Now, that's not something that I had considered, because I remember you saying as well, it's very challenging to be in F&B, and you've got to have the right mindset. So I thought I had the right mindset. So when all these executives started, members started saying, could you do home delivery for us, Ahlaam, because your food is perfect. We've tasted your food, much like yourself, and it's balanced. And we don't have to worry about the prep. We don't have to worry about balancing the macros. So finally, one morning, the way it started was while I was at the lounge, I would actually forget to eat sometimes. And as a nutrition coach, you can't do that. You can't skip meals. So what I decided to do was the driver and to the girls, my helpers, go get some vegetables, go get some beans, get lots of different things, gave them a list. They came back and I put together these 3 different jars, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I left them on my desk so that when, they're sitting on your desk, the AC is on, you're reminded that you're supposed to have your breakfast on. And a couple of my members came in for consultations, and one of them said, "What is this? It looks really good." And late on, I mean, she goes, "Guess what? It's my meal now." And she actually walked off with my lunch. And there I was sitting like, okay, hang on a second. My lunch has just walked out of the office. What am I going to do for lunch? Anyway, she walked away with it, called me the next day, and she says, "This was absolutely brilliant. Can you provide me and my friend with this for a whole month?" And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this with, okay, I had a lot of help, but I hadn't thought about F&B as a business as such. Anyway, she says, "What does it cost?" And I'm thinking, I have no idea what this costs. I'm going to have to sit down. This is all me thinking right now. How am I going to do this? So anyways, I said, "Look, leave it for a day. We'll come back to you." So I went away, initially my driver would be, the company driver would be delivering the jars. So it turned out that way. It started that way. And then it just, who came in said, "Oh my God, we've heard," and it went viral. So it actually, we were the first ones to create something that was plant-based, and it tasted really, really good. So we even won the best tasting food award, vote in the UAE, best food delivery, best tasting food delivery. So we were very chuffed.
I'm
However,
sorry,
the challenges started now.
what about your other awards? You also have received a few other awards.
Yeah.
Please tell us what those were.
Yeah, we won the Middle East Business Achievement Award for the best weight loss program in the Middle East, best results, because we had worked with kids as well as 60 plus, and we had made a difference to all of them. So everybody voted for us, and basically we won that award. Then also we won the award for a Business Excellence, Women in Business Excellence Award. So that actually went down really well. It gave us a lot of kudos. Really enjoyed the fact that our hard work and the development of these programs, which was all by myself, literally, with experience over the years, that it was all being recognized and, you know, making a difference to people. So it was it was a very proud moment. I was actually up on stage. I still remember receiving the Middle East Business Achievement Award. And just before that, this is a really important lesson to learn. Before I went up for the award, a few people were mingling a few of the nominees were mingling in the you know, the sort of reception area. And they asked me, I asked them what they were doing. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're huge. Our company is big. You know, we've been going for years. So I'm sure we'll win the prize. We've been nominated. And I'm thinking, oh God, it's so unfair. We're only a small company, but you know, we work so hard. We work very honest. And lo and behold, my company actually won the award. And you know, the best part was, while I was up on stage receiving that award, I was just completely washed over by emotion. So I can imagine what people who are receiving the Oscars would feel like. I was literally shivering and I was in tears, and I just said, I really, really appreciate this, and thank you very much to all our yourself. And I always say, work not for success, but for excellence. Strive for excellence, and success follows. That's always been my motto. Just do what you're really passionate about and not execute it well. If you have a brilliant concept or an average concept and execute it really, really well, think through all the details, which is probably what you're studying right now and you're teaching them, Shireen, is to think through all the details. And when you come to the final delivery point, make it exceptional, make it stand out with the fact either it's your service or service and your product, it should be outstanding. I always say, create a new playing field, do not compete. I refuse to compete in any field. I've always been, and I always encourage all of my son as well as everybody else, innovate, create new playing fields. Do not go into the same playing fields that exist right now. Create another one that's another level up and another level up. And that was going to keep you innovating and keep you ahead of the crowd. So yes, back to answering your question, Shireen, challenges of being in the F&B business, it's hard work. It's challenging because you can't satisfy the customers, and our customers were all very premium customers, and they paid like 4,000 dirhams for the month for meal plans. So they were all executives. They were all needed to be handled with kid gloves. But our premium product served them so well. Our service was really good. They didn't mind going away and signing up for another 3 months, another 3 months. The challenge being each one had a different taste. One lady wouldn't want celery in her thing. Another one would say, oh, I've got black pepper and then I don't eat black pepper. So it is very challenging, apart from the fact the quality has to be consistent throughout, and to keep an eye on your workers, on your staff, and make sure you customer feedback very seriously and track it back to the staff, give them the feedback, good and bad. I just found that being very transparent with the staff and them being part of the whole feedback process was very successful. That's what made us stand out. So my only thing is, whatever you do, do it the best, or don't bother doing it. Be the best.
Yep.
And I think that's more important now, more than ever, because of COVID-19, and, the hospitality industry, the F&B industry is going to take a big hit. And for people aspiring to get into it, I think creating that new playing field is the way to go about it. That's something that I need to learn as well. And thank you for sharing that. But, I can't wait to ask, you were talking about your power jars. Do you plan on opening your own restaurant anytime soon? And if you do, what would your
That's
concept
a really good question, Sharik. Would I? Okay. Under the current economic climate, no. I would let it all settle, obviously. And if I were to open up a cafe, it would have to be a whole food, plant-based cafe, where
Okay.
it's all unprocessed foods. It's all really natural, healing, wholesome food. So even now when I create dishes, so I hate cooking. I
Oh.
love creating. So I don't
All
cook.
right.
Yeah, I only create. So for me, it's all about the presentation. It's about the ingredients. Every ingredient has to be very wholesome and healing. So when people come home, they say, Ahlam, your food doesn't only taste good, it's actually very wholesome and healing. So like I said earlier in the other episode, that we need to make sure food is our medicine. So for instance, this morning I had a turmeric shot, right? Which is anti-inflammatory. So how can you include food items in all of your menus at the cafe that I would have a dream cafe, where every item on the menu has anti-inflammatory and healing properties? That would be something I would love to do. When is the $1 million question? Because right now we can't plan anything. We don't know what this year is going to bring for us. So yeah, we have to wait and
Right.
see. Yeah.
All right.
But I'd
Thank
love
you
to
for
do it.
that.
That's a
Yeah.
really good question.
Yeah.
It's a natural progression.
Looking forward to it.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know where that cafe will be. It'll be in Thailand, uh, and
Mhm.
I know who you will.
That's one of my favorite countries. Yeah.
No, but I know who she's going to ask to run it for her also while she's vacationing. While she's going to the other parent, I'll get a phone call once, Shireen, there is this plan, karna hai. So, uh,
And you're going to say, yes,
yes.
yes, yes, let's do it. Yes.
So,
I think it would work out really well with the right management and the right attitude. I mean, the
Mhm.
beautiful thing about you, Shireen, is that you're very creative. And there were times when she would be creative in a different way, I'd be creative in a different way. And then we both come together beautifully.
Yeah.
And, it's about taking each other's concepts and thoughts to the next level, which is what our lovely Shireen has over here. Sometimes she goes off on a completely creative tangent, which I love, but then we have to bring ourselves back and say, oh, but how do we actually make it work?
yes, we both do that.
Yeah.
Both, so like when she
Yes,
goes off on that tangent, I'm like,
yes,
like the operation, and then she's but
yes,
you
yeah,
throughout our work life that we've known each other, we take each other's advice, and she, whenever she's gone into a concept, we redid your power lounge. So I helped
yes,
her redo the whole interior bit. So we keep inspiring each other. It's a lot of
totally.
fun. It's a lot of fun. Um,
And when I
Wonderful.
need new input, fresh input, and some craziness into my life, I call up Shireen and I'm like, help. So, for instance, this thing was Shireen and I bought together for the lounge, actually.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
This beautiful setup here.
yeah.
And she can bring brightness and sun and sunshine to any situation. So I told her what I wanted. We went out there and got some really funky, eclectic stuff. So yeah, you can count on her for some crazy advice. And
For
you know,
sure.
Get it
I've
all.
had my fair share of dealing with Ma'am Shirin too.
Yeah. Okay. So, Ahlaam, I
yes,
also know that in Dubai, you used to consult for restaurants. They would ask you to either do a health section for them in their menu, or generally advise them on how they could make their menus more healthy. So, as
yes,
someone who is in the food and beverage business, but also can advise restaurants who they don't cater only to healthy. What what
yes,
what should they be looking at to be responsible menu planners, responsible restaurateurs, managers?
yeah.
What should they be looking at?
Okay, so the first thing for them to do, for most restaurateurs, it's very important that many people actually think they can do it themselves. It's fine, they probably could, but then they don't get the balance right. So for me, when I would walk in, I would ask them questions like, who is your main target audience? Who are the people who actually come in? Because when it's fine dining, it's different. When it's casual dining, it's different. And when there's fast food, it's different. So fast food can also be healthy, by the way. There are fast food healthy options that we create. So across the board, you have to understand what the palate of your customer is. What are the preferences? So some people come in and say, we just want burgers. Okay, so how do you create healthy burgers but balanced? So you still get your fiber in, you still get your whole wheat bun in, you know, how to get everything balanced and in there. And these days, I think people are becoming more conscious. So it's very important that you give them a good balance. So for instance, there were times when you have to cater for a wider audience. So you can't just cater for the grown-ups. You can actually say, if it's fine dining, how can you introduce something that a teenager would enjoy? Or if they're bringing in their little kids, what can you provide them so it's still healthy, but the mom would appreciate it and approve of it. It's healthy because it's a healthy family unit that is coming in. So parents will eat, for instance, you know, grilled fish. Kids will eat maybe fish fingers, but you have to make sure that the fish fingers, the actual fish sourced, is actually, you know, clean, it's mercury free, it's organic, all of that. And then the fries, would you give them regular potatoes or sweet potatoes, you know, and what vegetables would kids like? So it's about actually analyzing their needs and then going back to the drawing board and then building in gradually. And, you know, generally it's good to have about 6 to 10 options in any restaurant that's under the healthy banner, healthy, wholesome. I mean, now they do beetroot burgers, you know, which look and taste exactly like real burgers. So it's a matter of actually building a very varied menu. You know, it has to be something, there has to be dessert that's healthy, there has to be soup that's healthy, there has to be bread that's healthy, there has to be crackers that's healthy, and then the mains, and then the sides. So it's understanding the whole atmosphere, the whole, you know, the need of the restaurant and the people, and then develop.
And also, always
You have
doing
to,
things like keep staying low sodium, using the right kind of fats, then
exactly.
portion
Yeah.
control. And I'm curious because all the time there are these new fads, or maybe the bigger word is trends. But with these diets, I would definitely call them fads. We had way back, we had the Atkins, and then there's the paleo and the keto, and there's so many of them. But as someone who's in this industry and as an expert, what do you think is here to stay as a trend?
It's a very good question. What's here to stay as a trend is a healthy, wholesome, balanced diet. See, in keto and Atkins, you leave out the carbs. It's not balanced. Anything that you leave out of your diet plan, your body starts to react to that. So if you leave out the carbs altogether, one day you're going to binge and want to have a pizza and a biryani and burgers and everything that is really, carby. Now, the trick is to keep it all balanced. Now, again, my book talks about healthy, skinny carbs versus flabby carbs. So skinny carbs are the ones that are sort of wholesome, gluten-free, and not with such a high glycemic index. For instance, quinoa, oats, teff, all of that. Whereas if you look at rice and bread, they're really flabby carbs. They're the ones that are going to make you really bloat and be flabby. So it's about keeping your diet balanced and bringing in the really clean, wholesome version of each thing. So clean, wholesome carb, and a clean, wholesome protein, and a clean fat. So the other thing people don't understand is fat is actually good for you. But then there are good fats and there are bad fats. So bad fats are all the butters and margarines and, ice creams and shakes and all the really fatty stuff. The good fats are obviously salmon, the nuts, the seeds, avocados. Those are the good fats. They actually help you to lose fat. Nobody understands this, and I've said this in my book as well. Good fats will actually help you to lose fat. It's a very unusual concept. So it's just about balancing it and understanding the real quality ingredients. That's
And
all.
all the things that you're mentioning are very delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's not that you're telling somebody to, I don't know, have
To have boiled vegetables, for instance,
all
No.
day for the rest of like 10
or
days.
soup,
Yeah,
or cabbage soup,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, the
That's,
cabbage
one
soup
of the
diet.
biggest problems that in Pakistan, especially the healthy food that we get here, usually will taste like death. And, you would not want to eat that for more than that meal or even during that
Exactly.
meal. So
You
I think
can't
there's a
even finish
huge,
that meal.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a huge dearth in the industry, in the local industry over here, which I think, we should capitalize on.
Yeah.
I've taken a lot of
I am so
inspiration
coming
from
over
you.
and setting it up with you guys.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
great. Done.
So,
Yeah.
I just want us to look at some more. Is this slideshow showing properly, Sharik?
Yeah, yeah. We just put it on full screen.
Yes.
Okay, I will put it on full screen. And first, you have to see the us. This is normally how we are when we're not being serious about work. But the cheeses. So, and Ahlaam,
Oh, yes.
so Ahlaam has done a lot of courses all over the world. And her last one, I believe, has been about these cheeses and plant-based. Uh, what was it? You tell me.
Okay, so I love indulging and sort of always discovering, exploring, and innovating as a result. About how to play with ingredients. So when my son was actually born with lactose intolerance, um, and I had also developed a lactose intolerance over the years, I, I had started researching what it is. And a lot of people, 65% of the world's population, is basically lactose intolerant. So I started looking around and playing with ingredients, and then attended a plant-based course and different vegan courses, etc., just for fun. When I go to Thailand, that's what I love doing. I love switching off from the real world and diving deep into a completely new world, which rejuvenates me. So I can't just sit in the sun and kind of do nothing. So I have to do something totally different. So a different part of my brain is being used. So on one of the occasions, I was playing with the ingredients and did these courses. And then I came back and I thought, okay, hang on a second, let me play with this. So I started playing with nuts and a lot of other ingredients and came up with these cheeses that taste and feel and smell exactly like real cheese. And yeah,
I,
that's
I,
our
I
black.
when I was asking you the question, I said, you explained exactly what those courses were because I did not know what they were exactly, like vegan cooking, or was it, there's that raw food cooking, which is not really cooking, and then there's this plant-based. So when Ahlaam told me that, hey, you know what, I'm doing these cheeses and they're not dairy. And, coming from my classical hospitality background and being trained and having worked with all these amazing chefs who are very classical in their approach, like, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, how can that be? What are you making the cheeses from? And I was like, ha, ha, was my response. So then
That was exactly her response, actually.
I was like, come on. And I didn't want to be too, thinking about it because you just started doing it. But then I went to a place and she made me taste it. And I was like, wow, this is yummy. And then the texture of it, how it was coating the tongue, how it was feeling on the palate, just it was like cheese. And
It had all the umami flavor, the fat, everything. So I've been using nut milk to make these. And exactly like you say, it blows people away. So we've got Dutch, Swiss, French people actually, and the men especially.
which one is this? Which one is this?
Okay, the first one, this one is a herby cheddar.
What have you, quickly tell me ingredients without giving the
So this is basically nut milk, and you just have to process it, curdle it, and make sure that it comes through as solids, and then process it further. And that's when it actually turns into this cheese. It's a 6 to 8 week process.
She makes it sound very easy. It's not. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then this one is the black pepper one. So totally different process. It's actually got different ingredients. And this actually is a bestseller, the black pepper cheese. And it's very similar to Boursin, the Boursin style cheese, which is the creamy French cheese. It was literally a bestseller. Still is. I
I
mean, the
see
minute
there's
you
some
make,
figs in the background. I mean, they would pair so well.
Figs.
Yeah.
yeah,
And this?
yeah.
Wow.
This one has a spicy cream roll cheese, and this is rolled in spices and herbs, and it is divine, yes.
It is divine.
Although I say so myself.
No.
And this was our walnut and maple syrup, and yes, again, delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, these were our initial ones. These are like 4 years ago. These were the ones we created. And then since then, we've come a long way and we've created blue cheese. Can you believe that? We've created camembert.
This is like
Wow.
art.
I've got them, yes, I've got them right here actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you do.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do is focus a bit more on these.
Ma'am, can you exit the screen? Yeah.
Can you see them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can. Wow.
Okay, so this is our very aged smoky cheddar style right here.
Uh-huh.
Here we've got our cream cheese, which is processed and fermented for 12 weeks. And then it's crusted with pistachio and cranberry, as you can see.
Delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, there, I think you can see that better.
We can,
And then
we can.
finally, we've got the blue cheese, the creamy blue cheese, which is supposed to be really difficult to make. We've innovated a way to make non-dairy blue cheese. As you can see, you see the blue veins in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see them? Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's quite, and we've had calls from...
You made me try this on my last trip to Dubai. It was gorgeous.
I don't think you've tasted our blue cheese.
No, I have.
It's a recent...
No,
Really?
You were maybe developing it or something. You made me taste.
Possibly.
Yeah, and I said, wow, this is strong, like blue cheese is supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most people actually can't tell the difference between the real blue cheese and this blue cheese.
Yeah.
So
now I look at this image. Can you see the slide, guys?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
I mean, this is like heaven. Look at
It
the
is.
board, right? All those cheeses, beautifully done. And I have to tell everybody that Ahlaam is also into photography. So she's done some photography courses as well. And she shoots her own food. So this is all her photography. She has the lighting equipment, all of that. And then she does a lot of nature photography as well, which I've seen. Beautiful. So wildlife.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now that's what she's doing in Thailand. But this particular photograph, I just love. It's like heaven. And
thank you.
yes.
So I love food styling as well as, so I love creating the food, then styling it, and then photographing it. And yes, wildlife for sure. So in Thailand, you'll see me in, you know, in my slippers and shorts, hair tied back, chasing dragonflies and frogs all over the place.
Yeah.
That was a really fun image. I just imagining that right now. Yeah.
And I actually had entered a couple of competitions with my frogs and my dragonflies.
I remember those photographs. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Amazing.
a very big part of, I mean, all of this fine is the creativity, how you manufacture, your HR, how you manage that, how you train them, all of that. But if you do not do the right marketing for it, it is just everything dissolves. It's you can't. That's what makes you sell the product. And
Absolutely.
currently, what is it? It's always social media. So Instagram and Facebook and, you know, so Sharik, could we just take a look at Ahlaam's Instagram page?
Sure.
So she has two, one is about well-being and there's the other page which is about all her cheeses. So
Is this visible?
yeah.
Yes.
Vegan cheese.
Okay, great.
Yeah, vegan cheese Dubai, it's called. And if we can just keep scrolling.
So the main thing is you've got to understand, if I may talk you through this, that food is the best seller as long as you get the pictures right.
Yeah, yeah.
Pictures are very, very critical. The equipment is important. And then to understand what, to actually put your brand forward to the right people, there needs to be some sort of brand message going across, which is what I've got in the center, if you can see.
Mm-hmm.
There's, it's appealing to the crowd who would buy my cheese. They're very spiritual, they're holistic, they live life very clean. Um, so yeah, it's about talking to
Yeah,
them and to
if you
their.
see here, you've done this very, it's lovely because the central one is always a
Yeah.
message. And then there's
Yeah,
the food. And I think on the
It's a
right,
perfect grid.
yeah,
Yeah.
great grid. And on the right, it is more like close-ups, I feel. Like,
yeah,
I think on
yeah,
both the corners, she's got the food and the close-ups.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
maybe once
what I try and do is, yeah, what I try and do is have one message, one cheese picture, and the third one is a dish using my cheese. So it
Oh,
inspires
okay.
people to understand how they can use our cheeses. So this one that you, if you, sorry, Sharik, if you go down a little bit, just
Yeah.
one, this one on the left here, it was a cheesecake in a bowl,
Oh,
a
okay.
deconstructed cheesecake. So just one level down.
Here?
Yeah, this one on the left
Oh,
is
right.
basically a
Okay.
deconstructed cheesecake with berries. So I had basically, the base, I had put it under, but then I had also mixed the cheesecake with blueberries,
Mm-hmm.
put it into a bowl, and, threw over some of the crispy bits, which could have been, the
The
base,
base. Yeah.
the biscuits. So we
Right.
basically try and show people how to use our cheeses. So it's giving them ideas, it's inspiring them. And then before that, as you can see, we had testimonials, loads of testimonials.
Right. Right. Wonderful.
So these are people who have tried our cheeses and literally can't believe, and they say so on the testimonial, they can't believe this is without milk. Like this guy, especially this guy with the striped shirt. If
Mm-hmm.
you ever were to listen to him, I don't know if you can, but he would
Yeah.
say, he has said things like, it's milk, it's without milk, really?
Uh-huh.
It's without milk? And so,
yeah.
very inspiring.
So
Yeah.
we should,
Right.
yeah, Sharik should check out the post.
I will. I
I
definitely
love
will.
that
Yeah.
I keep seeing the cheese board I gave you. It keeps appearing in the photograph.
Yes,
So
that
you're
is
Yeah.
the cheese.
using it, would
You
you?
gave me those 2 cheese boards, actually.
Oh
Even
yeah,
the one that you were using right now was a
yeah,
gift from,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
yes, exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's inspired me to get creative. So thank you for that, Shireen.
No, you were already
Um,
working on this. It's awesome what you see, and all those years we've been friends. I see you keep reinventing yourself, and you keep gaining new knowledge. You change within staying within a field. You grab onto something innovative. So the
yeah,
jars, the spa, the vegan, the plant-based food, the cheeses, the crackers are out of this world. You didn't talk about those. Uh,
yeah.
oh my God, they're
So
addictive.
yeah,
If you think that nachos are addictive, you should try out those healthy crackers. Out of this
they're
world.
all healthy,
Yeah.
all baked.
Yeah.
So literally, that's all there is to it. They're baked, they're wholesome, they're healthy, and they've only got clean, healthy ingredients. So that's that. And then back to marketing, you have to again understand who your target audience is. So just to give you a little bit of an insight, the people who would eat our cheeses are the ones, for instance, what do they do? Okay, we have to understand the demographics, their lifestyle, their activities. So the people who love our cheeses work out, they do yoga, they meditate. So you have to understand what do they actually do on a daily basis. And then they Google, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, organic, ethically sourced. These are the tag words that we've always used because that's how the people who buy our cheeses connect with us. So it's very important to understand the language they speak, the places they go to, and how do they search for your products. So for anybody doing whatever product you guys decide to do or your students decide to do, get into, it's very important to understand. Obviously, you teach this in marketing anyways, right? Understanding the demographics of your clientele. It's also, the biggest thing for us was word of mouth. So once our cheeses were just stunning. There's nobody else who's done it like here for 5 years. Nobody can actually recreate them. So once you have only one chance to talk to your customer, the first time they order your item, it has to be so exceptional that they're loyal to you for the rest of their lives. That's the whole objective, because the cost of getting a new client is way higher than retaining your existing client. The dollar spent to get a new client is much higher. Whereas once you've got your clients, how to keep them is to constantly keep giving them new items. So they build on, you're upselling all the time. So people first started with a black pepper cheese. Then while they were ordering that, we said, would you like a sample of these 4 cheeses? And then, we used black garlic, we've used all sorts of innovative ingredients, and they try them and they're hooked. And now they order, instead of 1, they order 6 pieces in a month. The variety.
Right.
So
So it's about
interrupt.
reselling to them.
It shows less than a minute, Sharik. So should we just
we need to end the.
We can talk forever, right?
Yeah.
So much to talk about.
And come back. Okay. See you shortly.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.